Hello, good morning, g'day traders. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Wednesday. I hope you're all doing well. Let's jump on over to the calendar and get right into it. Looking at the calendar, we finally have some news for the week on Wednesday here at 9:45. Got the flash manufacturing PMI followed by the flash services PMI, both dropping at 9:45 a.m. Seems like an unusual time slot, but it is what it is, 9:45. So that's when we will likely see that liquidity come in, particularly straight after New York Open. So if I was looking to take a position, I'd be waiting for New York Open at 9:30 and this news drop to see how price reacts before I get into a position. Alrighty, let's jump over to the charts. Here we are on NQ. We took a great long during New York AM session yesterday morning. We might just have a quick look at that. It was taken live on stream, so be sure to follow us in Trade Foundry if you're not already. It was a very nice position indeed. Alrighty, let's have a look. First of all, let's discuss Tradeify. Tradeify have removed their payout windows effective 1st of May. So essentially, meet the rules, get paid out straight away. So no more payout window, and to celebrate, 35% off all accounts. Jimmy Trades is the code you want to use to grab 35% off any account. That is until 25th of April. Also, right now, Apex, 90% off all evals. Code Jimmy for Apex, 90% off all evals. Great opportunity to get in to the market and grab an eval and try and get over to a funded account as quick as possible. Alrighty. First thing to notice on the chart here at NQ, price is situated right at this imbalance, or this essentially, I guess, equal gap here. We're bullish and a bearish, virtually exactly the same levels here for this gap, this opposing gap. Now price opened and has just continued to motor higher. We had quite a large gap here at open, and we have a devil's mark at the low here. If price finds some resistance here, if we are unable to get through this level, then I can see us coming back down to this low here. If we can continue to motor through here, then we can look for potentially this high here to be taken. So there's a couple of scenarios there. I'm going to be waiting for market open to decide a direction today, just because of where we're situated right now. I want to see price move or give me some indication that we're going to continue to move higher or react at this level. So I'm happy to have a neutral bias as we move into New York Open. I can reassess where I'm at and see what the charts are telling me. Again, I was on the MNQ chart before, so we had that devil's mark, but there is a little wick to the downside here on the NQ chart, so an indication that we could continue to see expansion today. Then I would look for this high followed by this high here. leaning bullish as long as we get through this level. Let's have a look at the hourly. We did sweep out that low. If we look at MNQ, we've actually got an SMT with MNQ and NQ, where NQ swept that low out. At the moment, we're continuing to move higher. If this candle closes back inside the range of the previous hourly candle, we could see this as insight to order flow. We do have a bullish FEG here for price to reach for, potentially set that up to continue to move higher. All right, we do have a breakaway gap here at the moment. And ultimately, I'd like to see, if price does come lower, that we respect these opposing candles. All right. So at the moment, leaning on the bullish side. Again, I'm happy to wait until New York Open to determine my bias at that time. Okay. At the moment, we are inside this gap. So this is a good draw. We're reacting off this high here. Okay, we've swept this high. We want to see price able to push through this. We get through this level, then we can seek out these highs. Certainly, I think we can look for this high here. Let's drop down to the 1 minute quickly. We'll have a short look at the trade from New York AM yesterday. Where are we? Where are we? Here we go. So if we just throw it into replay for a second. Okay, here we go. So this was open. And if we... Alrighty. So at open, we had an opposing run. We had manipulation lower. And then if we have a look, go back out to the 15-minute. This was our draw. With these equal highs or relative equal highs up here, that was the draw into this gap. That's what we're looking for our draw liquidity. Low resistance liquidity through the highs here. We created high resistance liquidity at the lows. We had a change in state of delivery. Everything was looking bullish. That was the first thing. Now, we had an initial move here. Change in the state of delivery here as well, or respecting of these opposing candles. If we just roll through here a little bit. This is us. Change in the state of delivery. Through this level was an SMT. There's an SMT here with ES. In fact, if we turn that on, there we go. It's actually through this level here. It's close. Then an SMT. $15-minute FEG here. As we roll forward, We get tapped in. Now, I already got in on this candle here. So I think on MES, MNQ had dropped down a touch further, but I did get in to the position just here. And then we're targeting the highs, stop at the low. As we roll forward, we're going to retest at that level a couple of times, and then we started to move on higher. Now, I did get stopped out before price reached target. I had my stop moved up after we reached 2R. I moved my stop up under this low here. Unfortunately, I got tagged out here, but the idea and our draw on liquidity and everything was spot on. And price eventually, after it slowed down a little, got down and took out the target. This is a great little 1 minute trade here on NQ. Okay, we can see that little tap back in here to the FEG. Shows our high time frame point of interest. And we sort out that draw liquidity up here. This was essentially the Foundry model, working on the SMT, high time frame point of interest, change in state of delivery. And we also had that displacement through that level as well. Alrighty, let's move on over to ES. We'll push out to the daily. Now, feel free to drop a comment, ask any questions about the Foundry model. I've got my new trade plan dropping hopefully today. If not today, it will be tomorrow. Just got a couple little tweaks to do, and then I'll drop the trade plan. All right, ES on the daily. Let's have a look-ski. Need to get out of replay mode. That would be helpful. There we go. I was looking at it go, what's going on here? Okay, perfect. Out of replay mode. All right, there's our gap. That's what I was looking for. So ES is pushing through this gap here, this inversion. Okay, ES is making its way through. Like NQ, leaning towards bullish, but I am going to remain neutral at the moment. We still have a little bit of time before New York opens, so we're going to see how structure keeps forming, because we do have this devil's mark on ES and a large gap, and we know gaps like to be filled, so there is potential price could run back down into this gap. But I want to see that we continue with the bullish momentum here, which we are getting. You can see how we put in those equal lows here. So very strong draw liquidity into a gap as well. If we get a candle closure back inside the range of any of the previous hourly candles, so as we continue to move higher, if the next candle closes back inside the range of the previous one, then I'll be starting to consider price might be wanting to reverse. But we can look for these highs at the moment for price to want to reach for. Alrighty, let's move over to oil. Right. So we are getting pretty good move here. We did gap up here on oil as well. Nice wick to the downside, potentially looking at an expansion candle. If we move to the hourly, so this is the area that's price is going to struggled to push through, or potentially struggled to push through. We've got this daily bearish FEG. Now, at the moment, we are above equilibrium, as we can see. And price respecting the top 25% of the previous day's range at the moment. So I do like that for continuation higher. We move down to the hourly. Here's our markings from yesterday. I didn't put that on there just now. That was left over there from yesterday, from our analysis yesterday. So fairly accurate there, I would say. Working off this change in state of delivery still, price has closed above the -2. When we get a closure above that -2.5, what can we anticipate? -4. Respecting bullish PDRA at present. We want this level to hold. I'd love to see another close above this level. Closure above here, a little bit of displacement. I think we'll see this -4 taken. So I'm going to remain bullish for oil. Coming over to Euro futures. We got the bias wrong there. We can get rid of that. Let's look at the daily. Big gap down today. Yesterday we did sell off. I've already swept out some previous day lows. Potential to see this low here. I want to look at the hourly structure though. So we are unable to move through this gap at the moment. If we close through this level, then I'll be anticipating price to want to run this low. If we find support, so the two options here, we find support at this level, or before we continue to move through and we bounce, we get a closure through the gap and we continue higher, or we come through this level and we're looking to chase this low down here. We are in opposing directions. So we've got bullish support and bearish support, or resistance, if you want to look at it that way. Okay. We're unable to close through this level, and we've found support on that level. Neutral. Neutral until price shows us its hand. That would be, like I said, a closure through this level here. Should be this candle here. Okay. So neutral, we see this closure, bearish. Okay. Alrighty, Dixie, I'm assuming has gapped up. Whoa, that's ugly. Gee, Dixie can do this. Print some real ugly candles. But similarly, we have insight to order flow here. We could see Dixie moving higher. Here's our insight to order flow. Out of this gap, closed back inside the range, just. And we're starting to push higher. Let's see a closure above this level. And we're going to seek out this high. This devil's mark here for me will be the draw. I'll be looking for price to run higher. So I want to see closure above this level. And I'm a little bit neutral across the board at the moment. But that's okay. As I said, we've still got time before New York Open. We don't need to stick hard and fast to a bias now. This is just giving you guys and myself indication or potential ideas of where we might be heading to. All right, gold. Gold's starting to act a little bearish. Insight to order flow on the daily. Swing point candle closure. Took the high, closed back inside the range. We've tested that level after we gap down. So we'll go to the hourly. So the sun here was in there. So we gapped down, we filled that gap. Prices sold off. Closure through these opposing candles. Price respecting that at the moment. We see more insight to order flow here. A swing point candle closure out of a bearish FEG. This candle is starting to do something. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here with this candle. It's quite bullish at the moment. But on first thoughts, I think price may continue to move lower. Unless, of course, price can displace. If we displace and close above this level, then this would be a bullish breaker. And we can look for price to run higher. If price respects this level here, then I'll be looking for price to continue to move lower. This would be my draw liquidity. This low over here. We still have plenty of low resistance liquidity built up down here as well. Lots of low resistance liquidity, so that there is room for gold to want to move lower here. I just need to see what happens over the next couple of hours. Alrighty, in GBP. Let's clear the chart now. Daily swing point candle closure, closing back inside the range. Looking at an expansion candle here, we have a nice small wick to the high side. Oops, where am I going? Let's move down to the hourly. Respecting this bearish PD array. Again, candle closing back inside the range here. Swing point candle out of a high time, out of a point of interest, out of this bearish point of interest. Looking at this low, if we can get a closure through this level with displacement, and it looks like we might see that, then I'll be looking for price to run lower. A little bit more decisive for me on GBP. Lastly, let's have a look at Bitcoin on the daily. Getting some nice momentum here. We are inside this bearish FEG on the daily. So price needs to work to get through here. Bouncing off that consequent encroachment. Great move yesterday. We are respecting the top 25%, so I do like that. I know we have swept previous day high. I'm liking price to move higher here. They remain bullish. Let's check out the hourly. Yeah, we don't have any change in the state of delivery just yet. That would be around this level here, potentially. If we got a closure through and displacement, then we would start to look bearish from this level here. While we find support here, I'm looking for price to reach the highs. Thank you guys for tuning in today. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Be sure to follow us in Trade Foundry. Grab your Tradeify evals with 35% off right now with code JimmyTrades. Remember, they have removed the payout window effective 1st of May, and 90% off Apex evals. That's 90% off until the 24th of April. Okay, guys, take care. Happy trading. See you over in Trade Foundry. Bye for now.